In the first part of Unit 4, Lessons 11 through 14, we looked at the history of the Articles of Confederation and the writing of the Constitution. Well, now in this next series of lessons, we're going to look at the Constitution itself, and that starts with Lesson 15, The 7 Principles of the Constitution, Part 1. And for this, we have only one of the TEKs, and that is 15D, that we can analyze how the 7 principles of the U.S. government are reflected in the Constitution. So let's continue. So the 7 principles of the Constitution. The Constitution, the original Constitution, I should say, had 7 articles, and plus the preamble. These 7 articles were like chapters that have a different subject. Well, Article 6 was the one that defined the Constitution as the supreme law of the land, and it is sometimes called the Supremacy Clause. And what that means is that in the United States, all laws must follow the Constitution, and that federal law, meaning the national government, overrides state law. This means that all state laws must conform with federal law and must also agree with the Constitution. That term principle, and no, we don't mean as in the head of a school, is spelled a little bit differently. This type of principle means a guiding idea or a belief that influences our thinking and decisions. So that's kind of what we're talking about, the guiding principles of the Constitution. The first of these is called popular sovereignty. Who gives the government its power? Let's look at that term there, popular sovereignty. Popular comes from a Latin term which means the people. So popular means the people. Sovereignty is the power to rule. So when we talk about a king or a queen being the sovereign or having sovereignty, we mean that they are allowed to rule. They have the power to rule. So put that together. Popular sovereignty means that the people rule. And we see this at the beginning of the Constitution with the preamble, which is its introduction. And the first 3 words of the preamble are "we the people," standing much taller than all the others. And this just means that the preamble is being written by the people, and that the people are the ones who are going to have the power in this government. Our next principle is called republicanism, because in the first one we said that the people have power, but how can the people possibly exercise that power? Well, if you look at these pictures here, what do they all have in common? Look at this picture, and this one, and this one. And my question to you is, what activity is going on in all 4 pictures? Write that down in your notes. Okay, now that you've done that, let's move ahead. Our term is republicanism. Now, a republic, as we've discussed before, is a government run by elected officials. So republicanism means that the people elect their representatives to make laws and decisions. Because obviously when we say popular sovereignty, it's not possible for everybody to participate in every decision the government has to make. So the way that popular sovereignty is realized is again by choosing elected officials who will act in the people's interest. Let's look at some examples here. So who represents the people? Here we see a city council. The Denton City Council is made up of 7 individuals plus the mayor, again, who are all elected to these positions and make decisions and choices about city government, also called municipal government. Here we see the Texas State Legislature, and by the way, the Texas State Legislature has the same structure as the U.S. Congress, 2 houses with a House of Representatives and a Senate. And of course we have the U.S. Congress, which was created by the Great Compromise, and like we said, has the U.S. House and Senate. And these are just some examples of elected bodies and individuals who represent republicanism. But if we could think of popular sovereignty as the car, that's the vehicle that we want the people to have power in the government. Republicanism is the engine that makes that car go. That's how popular sovereignty is realized, by electing representatives to work for the people. Our next one here is limited government. And that's one we discussed before. So how is abuse of power prevented? We've talked in class about some examples of unlimited governments, dictatorships, and monarchies, where the leaders could do pretty much what they wanted to do. Well, the United States government is a limited government, and that means that all government leaders, right up to the president, have to obey the law. And like we said, that supreme law is the Constitution. So this keeps governments from having total control over their citizens and forces them to also follow the law. So I know this is kind of a short lesson here, but let's look at our lesson 15 thoughts. Let's review the definitions of popular sovereignty and republicanism. And can you think of any examples of these at work in your community? So think of ways that the people rule in your community, that they have the freedom of choice. And republicanism, examples in your community of people electing leaders. And number 2, what document did we learn about in Unit 2 that helped establish the principle of limited government? So go back to that lesson, the one on foundations of colonial government, and look up the document that we said was a foundation of limited government. And we'll come back with our next lesson, which is the 7 Principles of the Constitution, Part 2.